Shalom, Israel. This is Imnawalah again coming at you, and today I just want to talk about these last days. In these last days, it's getting heavy and it's getting hectic. You know what I'm saying? The Most High is bringing a lot of judgment, and I just want to talk about renewing your spirit and staying in the faith and being strong in these last days, because this is what's going to be our stability. Also in the faith of having the faith of the Most High and in the name of Yahweh Shah. So let me get Romans 13 and 11. Romans 13 and 11. And that, knowing the time, that now is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. So now is the time to awake out of sleep. Alright? You're not going to just jump into truth, and when the Most High starts bringing judgment, you're going to try and... Nah, it doesn't work that way, alright? Because it says here, now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. Alright, because as you can see, prophecy is happening very fast, very rapid. Right, the Most High is bringing tornadoes. He's stirring up the economy to make it go bad. Alright, earthquakes happening everywhere. You're hearing about wars and rumors of wars. Every time you turn on the news, what? They talking about Gaddafi, or the guy that what was the guy's name from in Egypt? Mubarak, right? And all sorts of people. So we get John 4 and 24.
Yeah, no, sometimes the closer it gets to Christmas Day,
ye worship ye know not what. Ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. But the hour cometh, and now is when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father seeketh such to worship him. God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. So when you're in the knowledge, you got to worship the Most High in the spirit and in truth. And what's the truth? Knowing that you're a Hebrew Israelite from whatever distinctive tribe that you come from, alright? Keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability in the faith of Christ, Yahweh Shah, right? And also in the spirit, what's the spirit? You knowing the scriptures and you applying the scriptures to your everyday life, alright? Not just knowing that you're a Hebrew Israelite, but then you still eating pork, or you still committing adultery. You understand what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You can't be doing that. Now that you know your nationality, now that you know you're not all these bywords that Esau put on us, that you're not black, you're not Negro, you're not colored. You understand what I'm saying? You know that you're a Hebrew Israelite, so now you got to start living like a Hebrew Israelite. Start applying them laws, statutes, and commandments to your everyday life. So we get 1 Peter 5 and 8. 1 Peter 5 and 8. It says here, 1 Peter 5 and 8. It says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. So you gotta really know these scriptures, man, and start applying them and having faith, man, because Satan is coming at you in every aspect. Right? He's coming at you through your family, through your significant other. Right, he's coming at you through your friends. Right, you might be seduced to go up in the club, and then you see all your friends or whatever going to the club. Then you're gonna want to partake in that or get drunk. Now, I'm not saying you can't have a little fun, but listen, you can't do certain things that you used to do when you was in the world, when you was living in sin, when you was living in ignorance. Right, certain things you just can't do. You know what I'm saying? Now that you come into the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? You can't be smoking marijuana no more. You can't be getting drunk, sleeping around, being a whoremonger. Okay? Alright, you can't be hating your brother anymore. right? You can't be doing all that stuff anymore, because why? Yahweh was teaching us that to love our brother, right? To repent, for the kingdom is at hand, right? The kingdom of heaven is at hand, and Yahweh was telling us to repent, man. Right, so now is the time, man. Now is the time, man. Again, I'm not saying, you know, you can't have a little fun, you know what I'm saying, be a robot and be stiff while you're in the knowledge. No, but, you know, you should really, really be applying these scriptures to your everyday life and just learning to live as a Hebrew Israelite, right? Trying to be Christ-like, so to speak, right? So, let me get Hebrews 10 and 23.
We good, you know what I'm saying? I can't see this thing. I'm like, this nigga hot. He's a
Hebrews 10.
You know, your adrenaline is all.
It says here, let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for he is faithful that promises. So, by us having faith, you know what I'm saying, in the Most High, that he's going to deliver us about any destruction, okay, and also keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay, it says here, for he is faithful that promise. And what's the promise? Him giving us the kingdom of heaven. Okay, that's the promise. All right, but having faith also, and doing the work, meaning going out there teaching your people and keeping the law, because that's really what's going to save you. But we know that we're in this captivity, and Satan is going to try and come at us. Like I said before, Satan is definitely trying to come at us left and right, man. Right? Because, you know, listen, when we was in the world, we was all doing all sorts of wickedness, but when we found out the truth, you know what I'm saying, we just stopped with that, you know what I'm saying? We stopped eating pork, we stopped being envious of one another, you know what I'm saying? We started taking pride in ourselves, all right? So, I'm going to get the last one, Ephesians, the 6th chapter.
Yeah, James. Some dipset niggas. Some niggas kept saying dipset. Some
Ephesians 6 and 10.
That was swinging.
It says, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God. And what's the whole armor? The word, man. That's the whole armor. That's what's going to save you, man. And also having faith, man. That ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Because like I said before, Satan is trying to tempt us every day, man. Every day is a test, man. To see if we're going to give in to Satan's devices, man. To see if you're going to serve, love the things of this world, or you're going to love the Most High, man. Because listen, the things of this world, it's going to perish in these last days, all right? Everybody just living their life, going to the clubs, committing adultery, all right? They worrying about getting money instead of worrying about serving the Most High, Salakia, all right? They worry about themselves, man. All right, they worrying about what's the latest gear they gonna get, the latest car they gonna get. Now, you know, you got certain things in the society that you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? You gotta work. You gotta provide for yourself. You know what I'm saying? We're not saying don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Because the scriptures say if you don't work, you don't eat. Alright? But you got to put the Most High first, man. For real, man. Because listen, in these last days when all hell starts to break loose, it's a wrap, man. You know what I'm saying? This truth, this word, is going to become a famine of this word, man. Alright? You ain't going to be able to find brothers out there on the street corners preaching this word, man. Because it's going to get so bad out here where we not going to be out there ourselves, alright? So, by you getting this word now and taking heed to this word and applying the scriptures to your everyday life, you know what I'm saying? You be taking that next step into righteousness, you know what I'm saying? Because things is getting real serious and real hectic out, for real. So let me finish. It says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world. What's the rulers of darkness of this world? You know, the government system. You saw the so-called white man's wicked government system, okay? And his media, the music industry, right? And it also says against spiritual wickedness in high places. All right, so I mean, now is definitely the time to wake up, Israel. You know what I'm saying? Because we are living in the last days according to the Bible. So I'm saying, stay in the truth, stay in the spirit, and I say shalom. All right, so shalom.
All right.